Martin told me that, what is the title of that, Martin? The what? Horizon's Kiss. Oh my goodness. Absolutely beautiful. Well, good morning. I have something very uncomfortable to ask of you. Come forward, fill up all these seats, sit next to other people, please. This is a time of community. We want to be with each other. We want to feel the heat of each other, the love of each other. Come in the front seats, take some front seats. Come on, it's okay. Oh, come on, right here in the front. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Paul and I were just gone for 2 weeks on a cruise through the Great Lakes from Toronto to Chicago. And it was blissful. And then the last morning, Friday morning, somebody at breakfast said, "Isn't it awful about Redding?" And I went, "What?" No phone, no email, no nothing for 2 weeks. And then to find out the trauma that has been going on and shaking this community. And took me a couple days to get my head around it. And then the title of this talk is Your Spiritual Broadcasting Station. That went out the window. I wrote it before I left, so that was useless. So I've been working to find a message that hopefully will be of some sense of awareness, some sense of completion, some sense of love, some sense of adaptation, I think. The first thing is because this fire is not over by any small amount. So many people that we've been keeping a list of who's been evacuated, and it's a lot. Several people have lost their homes, and several people do not know if they've lost their homes. There's a lot of emotional anxiety and fear because this isn't over. So anyway, on the back by the exit there, you'll find a list of evacuation centers as of this morning, all the locations of that. And then a prayer that I will read at the end from Creative Thought magazine. We're all impacted by traumatic events in one way, shape, or form. I don't think any of us are immune to the anxiety, the fear, the frustration, the sadness that's out there in the community. And you may feel emotionally drained this morning. So what I've asked is, after the service, our practitioners and ministers are going to scatter around, bring a few chairs around, and we invite you to come and sit with us and share how you're feeling. How have you dealt with this? What happened? What are the emotions? And we're just here to listen. No advice, no nothing. We're just here to be with you totally. Because what I found after the first service is listening to other people share their story was helpful in a lot of ways. So I invite you to hang loose with us at the end and come and just be together with what you've experienced. Every time I have some big experience in my life, I'm trying to find out, what is this trying to tell me about how aware I am of my life? What am I paying attention to? What am I not paying attention to? What do I need to give more energy to? I try to create some sense of meaning behind it all, because I know there's one life where's Chris? That's only God's life. This life is perfect. And I'm going, wait a minute. My mind says, wait a minute. And so I have to regroup and create some meaning about that. So if you have any insecurity, any feeling, any fear, any anxiety, it might be because you didn't know how explosive these wildfires could be. When you see the pictures on TV, it's just, how does a fire get that big and that out of control? You might have had anxiety if you had to evacuate your home and you only had 5 minutes to do so. I know there's a number of you here who have had that. And then the trauma of losing a home and all the memories associated with that. And the worst is when you don't know, isn't it? When you just don't know. So we want to listen to each other, not judge whether it was, gee, that was a little dramatic. Well, yeah, it's a dramatic experience. And sharing and having someone to listen to is very important. Because right here, right now, you're in this building. We're looking outside. We got the curtains open to be sure there's no smoke out there. And you're safe. Right here, right now, you're safe. Just take that in. Let that be who you are right now, in a place of safety. Eckhart Tolle always says, go into the now. The now is the only moment you have. And it's true. And right now, you are safe and you are loved. So what do we, as the Center for Spiritual Living in Redding, do that's not only spiritual, because we pray and give you prayers and pray all of you up and pray the firemen up, but what do we do that's practical? And, I was telling Sue and some of the board members, let's do what we do best. We give things to people. We bring together things for the homeless, for people of progress. Every evacuation center is going to need blankets. They're going to need sheets, towels. Every place a person goes that has lost everything is going to need things. And this isn't just for a week or so, because for those who have to rebuild, this will be months. So I invite you this week and in the coming weeks, let's bring together things that will help other people. And I'll guarantee you, we will have a team that will go to the evacuation centers and we will see exactly what they need, so we don't send them candy when they really need pots and pans or dish towels or soap. We want to be sure that we get things to people who need them. So I encourage you to do that. And this is who we are. We're great givers of love and of things. Okay. So while I was gone, I got home to my hundreds of emails and found out that Sue and Charlie have been so wonderful in connecting people with places to go and things that they need. And they've been a centerpiece of answering questions and being there for people. And I so honor that in them, and I thank them for that immensely. So most of my talk is in the trash, so I'm just going to kind of give you some highlights here. Oh dear, I already said that. Isn't it funny? You think I can never do a talk without notes, and then I just give a talk and look at my notes and go, oh, so much for that page. Anyway, I wanted to let you know, I worked in the timber industry for, I hate to say it, 40 years. To do with timber and paper and pulp and power and all that. And that's why just seeing a picture of a wildfire on TV gets me. It just grips me because I can't do anything about it. I want to help. And it takes me back to my first job up in Crown Zellerbach up in the peninsula, and we had a wildfire on company land, and I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm here. I can help. And he said, go make coffee. The firefighters know what they're doing. They are highly trained. They will be fine without you, but they would love to have a hot cup of coffee when they come back in the office. So I learned then that you really need to be trained to deal with these fires. And so I think about the firefighters. I think about the professionalism of them. And this morning I was watching the news and they were showing the map, and they said this area up here is still expanding. These areas are contained, and down here, there's a corridor of wind that typically comes down like 273, and if it is all windy, and that's the place that would be windy, it's going to come down and it's going to make a reverse J, and then we're going to have some problems. And it's like they anticipate this. Well, if you didn't know, these fires are expected in areas called wildland urban interfaces. Acronym WUI. It's a WUI thing. WUI. CAL FIRE has mapped these areas all through the state of California. Okay, the birds even know that. Okay. And so they know that these areas that are heavily timbered, that never get the brush cut, and people have moved into these areas are WUI areas, subject to massive wildfires that are extremely difficult to control. And so they're watching these areas very carefully. That's why you have firefighters from all over the state and out of state coming to help with this. It's a WUI fire, which is O-WU. Anyway, I was listening to the radio yesterday, and one of the firefighters said, now this is something I've never seen before. I saw a fire coming downhill, because usually they go uphill. So they get these big bulldozers and they cut a fire line across the ridge top that usually stops it. And I thought, oh, this is a firefighter that doesn't remember the Fountain Fire, the one that went from Redding to Boerne. And a friend of mine worked at the Boerne power plant, and he said even though they cut this massive fuel break at the crest of the ridge, they could hear this fire coming. And it was so intense. It would just scorch 50 feet of trees in front of them, and then they would explode. And then it would scorch 50 feet of trees in front of them, and it would explode, and it marched down the hill in about 50-foot increments right towards the power plant. And my friend Milt is standing on their woodpile with a hose. There was nothing he could do, but he just felt he had to have this hose. And he said when it marched down to the property line, which was all cleared, it went right to the left and marched right around the property line. Life-changing experience, life-changing experience. Because we live in this Mediterranean climate, if you didn't know, where we get rain in the winter, all the weeds grow, they climb up the side of the trees, people don't cut them down, there's low-hanging branches. Then our summer comes and it dries it all out. So all you need is a spark and a little bit of wind, and it takes it up into the treetops, and the resin in the tree is what explodes. And it explodes and throws sparks for miles. I had someone this morning who lives on Shasta View. They had burned leaves in their yard. The fire's not even close, but it's just being carried with the wind. So anyway, it's normal. It's normal to experience these massive wildfires. Thank goodness they don't happen every year. But it also makes us think about if we are living in a wooded area, are we handling our property for defensible space? Someone told me their neighbors, the fire came right up to their property line, they had defensible space, the house was saved. So we have to think about that. It's nature and it's reality, but it can be extremely tragic, extremely. So, you are a broadcasting system. We all are. We know that. We know our feelings show, our emotions show, and people recognize that, and they either, like on the cruise, want to get to know us or want to get to avoid us or whatever when you're on a ship for 2 weeks with 90 people. We had this one couple, he was 87, he was a circuit court judge from Florida. Him and his wife, darling people, and they adopted us. I'm like, Paul's 81, should we adopt you? You know, you're the older, but no, they adopted us, and they wanted to sit with us all the time and talk about everything in life, and they were the first ones when we got home to call and see how we were. Emotions, isn't that funny? Okay, we love them. So the most important thing for me on this cruise was, what am I broadcasting? What am I really, am I open and friendly? Am I quiet? You know, after about 10 days of eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner with people, and they say, where are you from? What's your career? What do you do? It's like, I want to sit in my room. Can't do that, though. So it's always kind of a pick-me-up time. Okay, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to meet someone new and interesting And we did. Many, many exciting people to meet and hear about their journeys in life. Especially, this is an older group that goes on these tours. So I was always thinking of what am I broadcasting? And then I'm thinking of Damien. He works for the Reading radio station. They have 6 stations. And I'm going, do I feel like hip hop today, or do I feel like country, or do I feel, what am I going to broadcast today? So if I didn't like it, it was up to me to change the channel. And that's the thing about being a broadcasting system. So have you prayed for the firefighters today? For the Red Cross? For all the volunteers at these evacuation centers who are working so hard to help so many? And this is the thing about the last year in this nation. We've been so divided, this upheaval. And then you come back to this and you have people upon people helping each other, loving each other, caring for each other. Nobody's asking who they support. We're just caring for each other. We've been redirected, because of this wildfire, we've been redirected to help each other. Get your mind off that other stuff and do what's most important in front of you. Amen. It's really the pathway we all seek, isn't it? To just be love and expression, to be helpful where we can. And it's the universal intelligence that made all of this possible, that seeks us to have inner peace, that brought us here to have inner peace and to be helpful. So we're really interdependent. And that's why just sitting next to different people right now, there's an interdependency. Not just because we come to this center, but because we know in a flash we would be there for each other, just in a flash. So the current application of everything we've learned here in all our many classes guides us in what we're to do. It guides us in who we should be in times like this. And it gives us comfort that we have an intelligence that created the universe based on the core emotion of love. Through all of it, love is the most powerful thing we can give. It's what to consider on a daily basis. How can I help others in the atmosphere of love? And so I'm not going to time this talk. I'm just going to say, I think I said enough. Oh, I got 10 minutes left? No, I'm not going to take that up. But what I'd like to do is read this prayer that you probably were given, most of you, hopefully. I think it was helpful to me, so I'm going to share it with you. It's called God is Love. This is the day. This is the time to move into the center of the all-powerful energy of God. The divine light beams through chaos, through problems, and through all beings. For there is just one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is my life and your life. The essence of this great one is unconditional love. All is love. Life is love. People are love. All there is love. Love intelligence. Within this one life is the innate joy and happiness that always wants to be expressed. It's all good. It's all wisdom that always wants to be expressed. God is and I am, and life is. I take this moment to remember who I am. The gloriousness of being one with the divine moves through me with grace and ease, because we know everyone is an individualized expression of this God essence. In this moment, I claim that life is bringing peace and harmony to the surface of every person, animal, and condition. Any hearts that are hurting, any minds that are confused, are being laced with life's goodness and God's love. Strength and courage are grounded in spiritual knowingness. In this moment, truth and reality are realized. Walking with Spirit has brought unconditional love and harmony to this moment. With heartfelt gratitude for the power and energy of Spirit in all our life, I release this prayer with certainty that the action has already taken place and these words are already manifest in this moment. I accept this reality. And so it is. Thank you.